After long months of political hustle and bitter negotiations, Sylvestre Ilunga was appointed Prime Minister on Monday 20th. The new head of state, Félix Etienne Tshisekedi, and his predecessor, Joseph Kabila, finally got to a common ground. The World Bank is committed to supporting the Rwandan agricultural sector. The Bretton Woods institution has provided Rwanda with $71 million of funding, which will help foster the nation's economy. On Monday, the head of the World Health Organization called for unity in order to deal with the Ebola epidemic, the number one public enemy in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which has killed nearly 1,200 people since August. These are our top stories. Stay tuned for more details in this newscast. For reasons still unknown, Pierre-Claver Maganga Moussavu and Guy Bertrand Mapangu, respectively Vice President of the Republic of Gabon, and for the latter, Minister of Water Resources and Forestry, have been relieved of their duties.
Par décret du Président de la République en date de ce jour,
by decree of the President of the Republic on this day, the functions of the Vice President of the Republic, Pierre-Claver Maganga Moussavu, come to an end. By decree of the President of the Republic on this day, the composition of the government of the Republic is reshuffled as follows. Ministry of Forestry and Environment responsible for the climate plan. The office of the Minister of State ends as Minister of Forestry and Environment responsible for the climate plan, Mr. Guy Bertrand Mapangu. The Ministry of Forestry and Environment responsible for the climate plan shall be under the Prime Minister. It shall be placed under the direct authority of the Prime Minister, head of government. The rest is unchanged.
Chef du gouvernement. Le reste sans changement.
Malaria is a deadly disease in Africa. In Gabon, the aim of the authorities is to control the disease through awareness raising and prevention based on local sanitation campaigns in all the municipalities of the capital of Gabon. It goes without saying that fighting against malaria requires a better consideration of all the means of prevention from the disease. The insecticide-treated mosquito net and sanitation of its immediate environment today are indispensable and effective means of fighting against this pathology. Gabonese officials are relying on outreach with local elected officials who will in turn relay to the people to put an end to malaria. The main strategy in the fight against malaria remains knowledge of the basic concepts of the disease. Around the world, 219 million people are affected, and 78% of those who died from the disease are primarily children under 5 years old. In Gabon, malaria is the leading cause of death in children under 5 years of age. In Malawi this Tuesday, many went to the polls for the presidential election with an uncertain outcome, where outgoing Peter Mutharika is seeking a second term against two serious opponents who have made the fight against corruption their favorite theme. Voters are also called to renew their members of parliament and local councillors in this small agricultural state of southern Africa. During campaign, Peter Mutharika, 78 years old, defended his record, highlighting the improvement of infrastructure, especially roads, in one of the poorest countries in the world. At his last public campaign meeting on Saturday at Blantyre, he says, "Since we came to power in 2014, we have been busy repairing Malawi. We have put Malawi on the road to progress." Peter Mutharika promised to make Malawi a better country within 5 years, saying the opposition has no reason to criticize him, not even one, while his main opponents have denounced the corruption which, according to them, has tarnished his term of office. Since he has been elected President of the Republic of Congo, Félix Etienne Tshisekedi was trying to agree with former President Joseph Kabila on the profile of the new head of government, who is supposed to embody the change and break with the old political system, as expect the new Congolese president and the population, including the international community, which hopes the country will turn the page of tumultuous relations of the past few years. Sylvestre Ilunga Ilukamba, a well-known political old-timer in the DRC, holds a PhD in economics, which he obtained in 1979. During the terms of office of former Presidents Mobutu and Kabila, he was appointed 9 times Secretary of State, 3 times Minister, and 6 times as President Advisor. He is a member of the People's Party for Reconstruction and Democracy, the PPRD, the party of the former president. Sylvestre Ilunga is close to Joseph Kabila, and upon winning the majority at the National Assembly, it was up to Joseph Kabila and his party to propose a prime minister. But the first proposals were not approved by the current head of state, who finally declared having found the right person for the job. 73 years old, this economist will now be the flag bearer of the FCC Coach Coalition. Highly experienced in politics, Sylvestre Ilunga commits to mobilize all the necessary resources to make the coalition work at the government level. The current Ebola epidemic reported in August in North Kivu and Ituri provinces in the east of the country is the 10th and worst ever in Congo since 1976. It is the second worst epidemic after the one in West Africa in 2014 and 2016, with more than 11,000 people killed in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. Since the beginning of the epidemic, there have been nearly 1,200 people killed for 1,760 of confirmed cases, according to the World Health Organization.
I have also met personally with His Excellency the President of DRC and opposition leaders to urge a bipartisan approach to ending this outbreak, because Ebola does not take sides. It's the enemy of everybody.
On the field, aid workers face resistance and violence on a daily basis in a region where several armed groups are actively working. In addition, rumors and distrust hinder the work of health workers. Some of the inhabitants are in denial of the disease, and sometimes they are violently opposed to safe burials to prevent the spread of the virus.
So far, the outbreak has not spread outside 2 provinces in DRC. But I emphasize, so far, the risk of spread remains very high.
The head of the HWO therefore calls on countries to adopt the proposed budget for 2020 and 2021 at the World Assembly, amounting to $4.8 million, nearly 420 million more than the previous one. Furthermore, the HWO head announced the appointment of various goodwill ambassadors, including the mother of the singer Lady Gaga, Cynthia Gemonata, appointed ambassador for mental health. The World Bank is committed to supporting the Rwandan agricultural sector with a funding to the tune of $71 million. And for the Rwandan government, this timely support will strengthen the sector. When signing the agreement, the Rwandan authorities indicated that the agricultural sector is of paramount importance in the country's economy, and particularly for the preservation of improvement of Rwanda's livelihoods. According to official sources, this agreement with the World Bank aims at contributing to the acceleration of the implementation of the 4th phase of the Agricultural Transformation Strategic Plan by the Rwandan government to improve agricultural productivity and reduce the rate of poverty in the country. The official sources say, first, we must improve value chains. The funds allocated by the International Financial Institution will improve the value chains of agriculture. They will also serve to facilitate access to agricultural services for small farmers. This should enable them to improve their productivity and openness to the national and international market. This is not the first time the World Bank has supported Rwanda's agricultural project. Last year, the Bretton Woods institution provided Rwanda with $100 million to help Rwanda implement its strategic plan for agricultural transformation, while commending the efforts of the Rwandan government for the modernization of the agricultural sector and the development of agro-industries. Rwanda, the country of thousand hills, is portrayed as a role model and fascinates everyone by the dynamism of its economy, but especially by the determination of the highest authorities to build an environment where life is good. The construction of the future green city is unprecedented in Central Africa. From now on, when you arrive in Rwanda, something new will hold your attention. A green city will be built on 620 hectares in the outskirts of Kinyinya, Gosabo district with a system that prevents environmental degradation and air pollution. If completed in time, the planned city would be the first of its kind in Africa. The project aims to show the viability of green cities in Rwanda and the elements that could be replicated in the development of secondary cities across the country with green technologies and innovations for green and climate-resistant urbanization. Relevant cities and designs on this innovative project will be completed by December. Construction work on the Green City of Kigali is expected to begin in January 2020, reported the New Times. Even if the exact cost of the project is not yet known, the engineers estimated at 4 or 5 billion US dollars. According to project experts, the city will have clean technologies, electric vehicles, cycle paths and electric bike paths, renewable energies, sustainable waste treatment, biogas plants, and urban forests. The city will also have many factories with clean technologies, affordable housing, and integrated artisanal production centers. The city will be built primarily with local materials, making homes more affordable and more environmentally sustainable. Different entrepreneurs will participate in the project as part of the Cactus Green Park project. 410 houses with green spaces will be built on 13 hectares of land. The Rwandan Social Security Office will develop affordable greenhouses on 120 hectares. So far, the fund has mobilized more than 170 million US dollars for green projects in the country. In order to fight illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, the European Union has developed a new computer tool called Catch with digitized certificates. Catch is an online application set up by the European Union for catch certificates. It indeed allows to effectively fight illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. The entry into the world's largest seafood market for exports from third countries will now go through this new catch certification system, compulsory for each consignment of fishery products entering the European territory. It will ensure that fishery products from third countries are from legal sources. It also aims to reduce the risk of fraud, facilitate trade flows, and reduce the burden on operators and administrations. Illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing has become a global issue. With the ever-increasing demand for seafood and the stagnation of the global supply for catch products for more than 20 years, there is a growing appetite for fish resources. Estimates indicate that the overall annual value of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing ranges from 10 to 23.5 billion US dollars per year. This represents between 1/6 and 1/3 of the world's reported catch, between 11 to 26 million tons of fish per year. Losses from this fraudulent fishery in sub-Saharan Africa are estimated to be between 1 to 1.5 billion annually, or nearly a quarter of Africa's total annual fish exports. In 2018, Gabon launched Albacore Operation, named after a species of tuna caught in its waters. This monitoring, control, and surveillance operation during the tuna fishing season, which lasts 4 to 6 months each year, also helps to combat illegal and unregulated fishing. After long months of political hustle and bitter negotiations, Sylvestre Ilunga was appointed Prime Minister on Monday 20th. The new head of state, Félix Etienne Tshisekedi, and his predecessor, Joseph Kabila, finally got to a common ground. The World Bank is committed to supporting the Rwandan agricultural sector. The Bretton Woods institution has provided Rwanda with 71 million US dollars of funding, which will help foster the nation's economy. On Monday, the head of the World Health Organization called for unity in order to deal with the Ebola epidemic, the #1 public enemy in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which has killed nearly 1,200 people since August. That's all for our newscast today. Stay tuned on Gabon 24 for more news.